This is the MT-09 2017. Now, what makes it different is obviously the headlight assembly is all changed on it. So that's pretty cool. You don't get this fly screen on the front. That's an optional extra. You have to pay for that. That's like £100 odd. And it is just a flimsy bit of plastic with a terrible bit of tubing on the top to rough off any burrs. Now, a lot of you have been asking me what this bike is like. Is it worth buying? Would you buy it again? Is it a bike that I can commute on? Yes, you can commute on it. It is quite easy going at low revs, and it will quite happily sit there, you know, purring away. But it comes alive when you take it out on the twisties. It really does handle well. I mean, very well. It will tip into corners without the slightest hesitation, and I just love it for that. It's brilliant. Now remember, it's a triple, i.e. like the street triple, but it's Japanese made. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to argue about, you know, the Triumph and the other triples out there, etc. Who makes the best bikes and all that lot. Right, the only downside I can put on this bike, and it is only one, and it's minor, and that is the rear shock is not as good as it could be. It could be better, but that is minor, and most people won't actually notice that. Now, if you ride fast and hard and slam the brakes on coming into a corner, you may find that the rear bounces around quite a bit, and the problem with that is, you know, if you're trying to control it as you hit a corner fast, the rear is a bit not brilliant, and I think that's down to the rear shock. Excuse me. Really easy to put crash protection on it because it's naked, obviously. And there's only one thing I would actually change. If I could spend another 800, 900 quid on it, which in theory I could, because I saved a few grand buying this over the MT-10, which I had budgeted for. So in theory I could do this this year, and that is to swap out the stock exhaust. Now the stock exhaust is really well built. Don't get me wrong there, it's really well built. It's not like a Kawasaki exhaust that you know are going to fall apart after about 6 months. It is really well built, well made, and it's going to last the life of the bike probably. But it has no guts, and none whatsoever. It's, you know, it's not brilliant, and the Aquaprovic exhaust that you get from the factory, i.e. you can order directly from Yamaha, I wouldn't get that either. That's a word of advice for me. Don't get that exhaust. If you're after a new exhaust for this bike, get the Aquaprovic directly from them for this bike. Now the reason for that is, the one you get directly from the factory, from Yamaha that is an Aquaprovic, but it is, how can we say, crippled. It has the baffle welded in. You cannot take the baffle out. Believe me, the mechanics I've been speaking to, they said they've tried, they've looked into removing the baffle, and they said it's not really an option. So if you're going to replace the exhaust, don't get the official one from Yamaha. You know, get the one direct from Aquaprovic. Sorry about the name, I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, what this has got over the previous versions of the MT-09. Now, it has got a quick shifter. So if you look down here, you can see the quick shifter. So there's the quick shifter. So the quick shifter only works in one direction, and that's up. So as you change gears up, you don't have to pull the clutch in, you can just use a quick shifter. But experience has shown it only really works when you're hooning it. Slow manoeuvre, yeah, it does work, but it feels like you're just doing bad clutchless shifting. So I don't tend to use it in slow round traffic, round town. It has 3 riding modes, A, B, and standard. This is the throttle. A, I call for arsehole, because your arsehole will be shitting itself in it. It's just fuel fury. It just goes like a friggin' animal, a complete uncontrollable beast. B's baby mode, that's what I've been riding in for quite a long time, just getting used to it. Then standard is, well, standard. And that is what most people are going to leave the bike. On bad weather, rainy days and that, and if you're tired, you'll swap it down to B just to keep it more manageable. But most of the time, you're going to be riding in standard. There's 3 levels of traction control as well. Now, 1, 2, and off. 2 being the most intrusive, which I currently have it on. That can help you stop pulling wheelies and by accident. And believe me, this is a wheelie machine. If you're into your stunt riding and doing your wheelies, you cannot go wrong buying this beast. You know, if you're not into wheelies, you'll still love it. It's a fantastic machine. Now, it has ABS as standard, and that cannot be turned off. So I know that I put some people off who like doing their slides, etc. Unfortunately, it can't be turned off. That's locked on. I think you're going to find that's going to become a standard on all motorbikes within the next few years. ABS is going to become equipped as standard, and you won't be able to disable it, which is arguably not the best thing for some bikes, because an off-road bike wouldn't want ABS on. So I think that's where they're kind of, there's going to be a loophole. If your bike is deemed off-road, like a supermoto, it may be exempt of that ruling at some point, but it's going to happen. They're all going to be ABS only at some point, all road bikes. Simply for panic braking in cities and stuff. That's where a lot of accidents are happening. So, colour. I call it mech grey and fluoro yellow, simply because if you know your anime and your mechanoids and all that sort of stuff, this is the sort of grey colour they use. And personally, I absolutely love it. I really do. I was in 2 minds about buying it because my wife wasn't sure, and other people were like, that colour is, you know, it really stands out. It's a bit, you know, loud, but I love it. I bought it, and I have no regrets whatsoever. The only thing to be aware of if you've never had rims of this sort of colour, they are a bit of a nightmare to keep clean. What I found is I put a little tiny bit of degreaser on a rag, and I do mean a little bit, and clean it off and then thoroughly rinse it afterwards, make sure none of it gets on the brakes, etc., etc., because that would be dangerous. Apart from that, I've done 1,000 miles on it. It's incredibly comfortable. I know some people don't like this. Some people call it the banana seat. They prefer the split, sort of more MotoGP style seat. But it's comfortable, and that's what matters. It is a comfortable seat. I have no problems with it whatsoever. Some people have said it's not. It is. It is a comfortable seat. And I'm not a small guy. You know, I'm 6 foot, and I'm quite, you know, I'm not skinny, but I'm not fat at the same time. So I'm average guy, 6 foot, average weight, and I find it really, really comfortable. If you're into this bike and you're worrying about whether to get it or not, I would say yes. Now, some people moaned about the throttle control on the previous versions. It seems to be ironed out. It seems to be fine to me. Every now and again there'd be a little quirk, a judder at low revs, I find. But if you're riding normally, you're not like trying to filter really slowly. The throttle's as smooth as it can be. It's fine. It's better than some really low revving machines, shall we say, that have really nice fine throttle control at low revs. Torque on this thing is unbelievable. Trying to keep your license is a problem. It is just awesome. It just pulls away and just keeps on pulling all the way through the rev range. It's just absolutely awesome. So no regrets. If you're thinking about it, this over the MT-10, this is smaller wheelbase, remember. So if you're doing a lot of city riding, I would get this. If you're not doing a lot of city riding, I would get the MT-10. But that's pros and cons of the money at the end of the day. If you haven't got the money, you've also got the MT-07, remember. But if you could squeeze the insurance and your money to the MT-09, get it, because you will outgrow the MT-07. So MT-09, beast, fantastic, highly advisable to get it. And it is really well made. I've gone over it everywhere, and everything on here is extremely well made. It's not budget that they've squeezed in. You know, they've like substituted like dodgy bits for it. keep the price down. I don't know how they kept the price at the price it currently is, because it is. It's just really, really well made. And well done to Yamaha. That's all I can say. Thumbs up to you. Brilliant bike.
What if I go stronger? What if I get higher? What if I start doing things I know I will regret? I will make my own way, I will not surrender. I will do my best until I get put under. What if I go stronger?